This could have all been avoided if I just would like man up and watch the movie. Hey y'all, it's Megan. If you return to my channel, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome aboard. Today we're talking about one of my very favorite movies. I still like it, but I really liked it when I was a little kid. Fantasia. I'm sure the title says something like that, but I guess I could tell you what the actual movie is. Fantasia is what we're talking about today. I loved Fantasia as a child. I knew all of the words that Deems Taylor would use to introduce each little segment. I would stand in the middle of our dining table and conduct, like, as my mom tells me that I said it, Leopold Tchaikovsky. I would act out certain scenes from the movie. You know, if you've never watched Fantasia, it's just classical music with pictures and stuff set to this music. Not all of it has any kind of story. Some of it does, like Night on Bald Mountain has an actual story, and that's where Chernobog comes from. But there's some of it that's just like shapes and pretty colors and things. But there's one section that is it's the Waltz of the Flowers from the Nutcracker Suite, and it's all of these flowers that are just twirling and dancing and jumping. And I would jump for the entirety of that section. I had a lot of energy as a child, apparently, because if you ask me right now to go and jump for however long that section of music is, that's going to be a no from me. My sister and I would just stand in front of the TV, and we'd get ready, and we would twirl, and we would spin, and then we would just jump constantly in tune or in beat with the flowers that were jumping over and over and over and over. There were other movies that we acted out. Maybe I should do, in a future video I'll talk about the other movies that we used to act out, because it was a whole moment up in our house. That was one of my favorite movies, except for one scene. And you're probably thinking it was Chernobog. No, Chernobog didn't scare me. I was not bothered by that. If you have seen my movies that are creepy or unintentionally creepy things from Disney, that's where we're going here. I'll link that video down below if you're interested in seeing some of the scenes from movies that probably shouldn't be creepy, but I find that they are. I hated this one particular section because it looked like a walking tombstone. Blink and you miss it kind of moment. I think the whole scene that I didn't like lasts maybe 3 seconds, but it terrified me. I hated it. I would have to leave the room anytime that scene came on. And I still, if I watch Fantasia, I still have like this, when it's leading up to that moment, I still have this weird like cringy heart palpitation kind of moment, because I for so long was so scared of this scene that it's like embedded in me somehow. And that's where we come to the story, the title of the video here. I'm not going to be too graphic, so if you are concerned about that, like I'm not going into like all kinds of gory details or anything. But I was watching the movie. I could not have been older than 4 because we were still living in Georgia and my sister was still a baby. So the very oldest I could have been was 4. I'm not sure I was 4 yet, 3 or 4. So I'm watching this movie in my living room, and in our house, our living room, you know, butted up to the kitchen. My mom was in the kitchen so she could see me, and I was just hanging out in there, dancing around, doing my thing, watching Fantasia. Well, my mom is like getting dinner ready in there. My sister starts crying or whatever. My mom has to go like tend to her in her bedroom. I guess she was like napping or whatever. So my mom leaves the kitchen and says, "Hey, I'm gonna go take care of your sister real quick. I'll be right back." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine." But she was gone for the exact segment of the movie where I didn't want to watch it. So my mom might have been out of the room for 4 minutes. And in that time, I managed to injure myself. I didn't want to see that scene. And instead of just like fast forwarding past it like a normal person would, I would just like leave and come back. Well, I left to the kitchen because I was like, I can't even be in the same room. It's not just like oh, cover my eyes. No, leave the room. Go to the kitchen, and I see where Mom has been cutting bell peppers for dinner. Some of you are ahead of me. I wanted to be helpful. I'm like, oh, Mama is taking care of Mare. Like, let me help out with dinner. I was 3, maybe 4. I could barely reach the counter. I'm pretty sure I had to scoot a chair over. I can remember doing this, so I couldn't have been too young because I can remember doing it. I think I scooted a chair over to like the bar area, and I stood on the chair and I grabbed the pepper that Mom had been working on, scooted it over to me. Did not bother to use the cutting board because why would you? Grabbed that little paring knife, grabbed that bell pepper, and began to slice into my hand. naturally, I'm like, oh no, now I'm gonna be in trouble. So I throw the bell pepper down and go and run and hide. I think I hid behind the TV. This was back in the day when the TVs were like, you know, a huge gigantic box that was like a console on the ground that you could actually hide behind, not something this wide that hangs on the wall. So I ran and hid, and Mom came back in a second later and was like, I wasn't cutting red bell peppers. Meaghan! And I'm just like, hi. So she came and grabbed me and, you know, washed my hand off, and it wasn't deep. I didn't need stitches. It wasn't a big deal. But this could have all been avoided if I just would like man up and watch the movie. I do have a scar. I doubt we're gonna be able to see it. Let's see. You see, there's a scar. I might have to take a picture, but there's a scar that runs from there to there. And that's just because I bruise and scar really, really easily. I have scars from like the chicken pox. I have scars from everything. So it didn't have to be a like bad injury in order for me to be scarred, but I do have a scar. It runs from there to there, so it's about an inch long. Just because I didn't want to watch a scene from Fantasia. It's just another example of I injured myself. My whole family injures themselves in very strange ways. I'm gonna have to do a whole video, I think, or a whole set of videos about how the Skipper family has injured themselves, because there's like some quicksand involved. There's a pogo stick injury. My mom almost got real hurt with a pogo stick. My sister almost cut her whole finger off. That one's a little more graphic. We may not do that one, but we've done some stupid stuff and ended up injured, and this was mine. That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know, do you like Fantasia? What was your favorite section of Fantasia? I really liked the Nutcracker Suite. That was one of my favorite sections, but I loved Deems Taylor just in general. And when they re-released Fantasia in the, like, I guess when they re-released it for DVD, I was watching it and I was like, I know the cadence and the tone of his voice so well from watching this movie a gazillion times. I was like, this is dubbed. This is dubbed. This is not original audio. It's not him. I can tell you right now, it's not Deems Taylor. So I went on like a deep dive, and I'm searching and searching and searching. Corey Burton redubbed the audio for Deems Taylor in the re-release for the DVD. So I feel vindicated. It was not, in fact, Deems Taylor's voice, and I knew that because that's what's taking up a brain wrinkle in my mind. I don't know what I had for dinner last night, but I can tell you for a fact that that was not Deems Taylor's voice. Why am I this way? Anyway, what was your favorite section of Fantasia? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.